In this video, we're talking about the Pillcocaja farm in Ecuador. Welcome, my name is Patrick Rolfe and this is Coffee with April. For this episode, we are tasting coffees from Pillcocaja, one of our partner producers in Ecuador. And with this, we want to share a little bit of insight in how we work with our producers, because it's important. This is a time of the year where we make a lot of the selections for what is coming up in 2023 and 2024. We're also visiting our partner producers around the world. And it's a good time to just share a little bit about green coffee. After all, it's the very foundation of what we do. Now, when it comes to Pillcocaja specifically, and Ana Maria and Nicolas, the two producers, we visited them at the end of the summer last year when they were doing their current harvest. So different countries farm differently or harvest differently, right? So in this case, they're farming end of summer and we get the coffees in Europe around now pretty much. So just a few weeks ago. And with that, what we do is that we make a pre-selection a long time ago, so during the summer, in terms of these are the lots that we're looking for. We taste the coffees at the farm in this case. We don't always do that, but we did that here. And then obviously the coffees get shipped to us. And we're always very curious to taste a wide range of different coffees. So here on this table, for example, we have 6 lots that are for April, and then some additional lots that they really wanted us to try and give feedback on, right? So that's kind of ongoing for every single relationship we have, that we try a lot of the coffees that we also don't end up buying, just to get a better understanding for what the farm is producing across the board in terms of varietals and in terms of processing. So what we do when the coffees arrive is that we go through all of the lots through sample cupping. So we basically do a small sample roasting selection pretty much. And we cup and evaluate those very similar to what we would do with our QC protocol, right? And based on that, we give you an idea, or we set up internally a plan for which coffees are we releasing when. So we're obviously not going to go and release all of these 6 lots at the same time. They're also all lots in different categories of the April coffee. So as always, we buy the limited lots, we buy the April selection lots, and we buy the SP lot from that same producer in order to secure a larger volume from them, creating more value and hopefully then being able to grow a little bit better and more sustainably together, right? Now, these coffees, as always, when it comes from Pillcocaja, is very varietal specific coffees, which is what we're looking for. We're tasting Typica, we're tasting Ethiopia, which was one of the first varietals we ever had from them. We're testing Sidras, we're testing Pacamaras. That's kind of the main category of varietals that they are working with. And then we're selecting a few different processing methods here. As always, we tend to gravitate towards the clean stuff. That's always what we're looking for. We often find that a lot of these tank fermentations becomes very generic in the sense that it creates a very similar taste at this farm as it does with other farms. And then we tend to not kind of go down that route because we want more specific coffees. But this year, it's interesting. We think it's very consistent. That's one of the reasons why we've been working with the Pillcocaja farm for as many seasons as we have. They're a small producer, they're a consistent producer, they're a very good producer. And we find year in and year out that we actually get some really stable quality that represents what they're looking for. And whenever we work with a specific farm, it's usually because they kind of have a trademark, let's say, taste spectrum, right? So in this case, when it comes to Pillcocaja, we often find very floral coffees. We definitely have this kind of milk chocolate vibe to it as well. We often have this kind of melon character, sometimes moving over to some kind of banana vibe to it. But in general, the coffees are very specific in general when it comes to taste. The acidity structure is often very malic or kind of go into some kind of red citrus world, which is very interesting and makes for a very complex, high integrated acidity, which we also really prefer, right? So exciting times. We're making the selections. We're looking to launch these very, very soon, maybe even when you see this video. So check out on our website if you haven't done it so far. With this in mind, we were also at a time of the year where we're visiting a lot of our producers. So when you see this video, we're most likely going to be in Guatemala and in Costa Rica to visit our partner producers, Volcan Azul, El Socorro, and a new farm that we're set to release later this year called El Murito, which is located just outside Guatemala City in the kind of opposite direction from El Socorro. So a lot of interesting things to come with these trips. We're going to give you a lot more farm material, a lot more green coffee material, because after all, that is the very foundation of what we do, both in the industry, but also here at April. And as per usual, you see a lot of behind the scene coverage, a lot of kind of just details you're not going to see here via the Patreon account. So make sure you sign up, subscribe, do all of that to make sure that you don't miss out on what we're up to. With that, we just want to thank you for watching and have a good day. We want to give a special thank you to all of our Patreon supporters. It's because of you that we are able to continue to make these videos. And we want you all to feel free to always come with suggestions and ideas on the content that you want to see, because we are doing this for you and because of you. Thank you from all of us here at April.